Hello, and welcome to our first Director's Deep Dive. First person we chose, kind of an easy pick, although there are a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
But Martin Scorsese.
Kind of
I
a
mean,
Hollywood legend.
Can't go wrong, obviously, when you pick Scorsese. So
Yeah.
we started with him, and we watched 3 movies on his. We watched Raging Bull, The Aviator, and The Wolf of Wall Street. So we got a good range, kind of different times of his career, too, so that's kind of good to see. But yeah, I guess I'll just open up the floor. This is going to be kind of a discussion on Scorsese in general, and then just on the 3 movies we watched too. So
Yeah.
When you said, what'd you say, Hollywood legend?
Yeah.
And my understanding is if it wasn't for Raging Bull, he wouldn't be the Hollywood legend because
Yeah.
it's the movie.
maybe.
Kind of
Robert
put him
De
on the
Niro
map.
saved his life because he was, doing a bunch of drugs and thinking about because he bombed on one of his movies, and De Niro's like, "You need to make this," And he's like, "Oh no, it's not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna go back to I think it was Europe or whatever and just make films over there."
Mm.
But he made this one, and look what it did for him.
Right.
So
Put him on the map and then nowhere up but from there.
now he's a powerhouse.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I guess let me just bring this right down to a negative level. Raging Bull was the movie I enjoyed the least out of
Yes.
these.
Same.
Really?
And I wanted to
Same.
enjoy it the most.
I was like, yep, I'm gonna get something good out of this one.
Yeah.
And I can see like exactly what you said, like why he became a legend or why his movies are very phenomenally made.
Yeah.
I just had a really hard time with Raging Bull being invested in the characters and
Yeah.
in the story.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a few theories on why, but overall, the other 2 movies are phenomenal films. Like
Right.
I love those movies. The Aviator I just seen for the first time, and I thought that was a really good watch.
Blew
Yeah.
my panties off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super awesome.
Yeah.
And then The Wolf of Wall Street, I think, is one of, if not the most entertaining movie ever made.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't really like it at first. I was like, oh, just glorifying all this shit or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't deny how entertaining that movie is. And part of it is Leo, part of it is Scorsese, and part of it is just the story. But
Right.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
cast all together,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
Wolf
Right.
of Wall Street. I mean, they all
Yeah.
play off each other.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So
so
well.
much fun
You
with
just
between
can't
all of
look
them.
away from a train wreck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And there was one question I really wanted to pose, and I'm not sure I know the answer to it. But with Scorsese, as I was watching all these 3 movies, I totally felt it. In these ones, at least, I haven't seen all of them, but for the most part, he uses the same story structure in
Yeah.
every single movie.
Absolutely.
And on the one hand, that means that that's his style. On the other hand, does that make him a less not as good of a filmmaker because
Yeah.
he can't take a story for what it is, or he's just picking the stories that he wants to tell in the way he wants to tell them?
I think, it kind of depends on the movies, too, because,
Yeah.
for me, The Departed, that's probably one of my most watched movies. It's probably
Nice.
it's my second most watched movie.
Yeah.
But that one steps away from, I think, his norm.
The trope of his story,
because
kinda?
it's not an angry Italian dude yelling and,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
giant mess of a dude who
Yeah.
kind of just stays a mess the whole time. I mean, there's some like ups and downs, and he's like figures out where he's at eventually.
Yeah.
He gets to that point, but most
Right.
of the time it's a scumbag, and he's just a dick, and you don't really want to get behind him, but it's like he's your protagonist.
Yeah.
You kind
Right.
of got to get behind him.
Yeah.
But The Departed kind of steps away from that, showing a little bit more range, in my
Okay.
Sure.
opinion.
From what I remember of that, it's been a minute since I watched it. I really liked that movie when I
Yeah,
watched it, though.
it's a phenomenal movie, and I think that's my favorite Scorsese movie.
Yeah, okay.
Aviator coming in second now, I think,
Okay.
because for some reason that one it had that trope like you're mentioning,
Mhm.
but it felt different.
Yeah.
The Aviator felt a little more nuanced in the structure for me. I think I did find the moment where it goes from rise to downfall.
Yeah.
With Katharine Hepburn's character leaving, I believe that's
Yep.
the moment
Right,
I've
yeah.
signified it as. But like you said, there was a little more to do and a little more not meandering around, but kind of like going in and out of what you think his story is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Whereas like Raging Bull and Wolf of Wall Street are specifically up and then specifically
Yeah.
down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street is like really ramping it up, up.
And
Yeah,
then
but
just down. Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean with the Aviator too, I think he deviates from his normal stuff because like the colors that he uses, like when he's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, it's
Yeah.
greens,
Right.
Right.
and things like that. So it's kind of like cool that he did that. I mean, typically I don't look for that in a movie because
More
I don't really give a
stylized.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm there for mainly the story, the characters, and shit like that. But
Mhm.
I thought that was a good touch to the movie. It made it feel fresher too. Even the way it was shot, it felt like a fresh Scorsese.
Yeah,
movie
for
me.
sure,
Right.
for sure. I would agree.
That's why I
The
enjoyed it a
coloring
lot.
surprised me in that movie a lot. It was like muted blues and greens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when he's flying and stuff, it was like
Yeah.
totally discolored, but in a cool way. I wasn't
Yeah.
like
Right.
off-putting.
It was-
sky shots.
You couldn't
and
take
stuff.
your eyes away from it. I was
Yeah.
that was one of the things. The way it was shot and the color scale and everything. I was like mesmerized by it.
Yeah,
I was shocked.
definitely.
Some of the
By it.
plane sequences and the actual like CGI sequences that I'm assuming Scorsese's not comfortable
Yeah.
putting
Right.
in
Yeah.
all of his movies.
Right.
Clearly, he took the effort to do it in The Aviator, and I think
Yeah.
it paid off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I thought about that too, and how he's one of the guys that talks about how Marvel, is
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And then I saw that, and I saw the CGI happening. I was like, I wonder how he felt about this.
Right.
Right.
You know,
It must have been a leap for him to like put so much
Yeah.
faith into another person.
Yeah.
but-
right,
For sure.
right. Another good step away from his norm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would even. I mean, I don't know if Taxi Driver is really a rise and fall. It's like you're
Yeah.
kind of more following like an anti.
I feel like he
that's
tries
hero
to rise,
dude.
but he doesn't know how to, because that's
Right.
the kind of like he doesn't know how to fucking work in its society.
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
right. It's like you're following this dude on the fringe of society,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like,
That one, I guess you would say, it feels a little more just like low
yeah,
at all times.
you're really
It's
on
kinda
like the
grimy.
underground,
yeah,
gritty,
and then
grimy.
drops at the end of like, holy fuck. Like,
Yeah. Poor
But,
guy.
yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know. I appreciated Raging Bull for what it was. For me, from what I've seen of De Niro, I thought his performance was pretty good.
He grew on me over the film
Yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah.
but-
It's probably my least favorite De
Yeah.
Niro
Really?
performance. It just didn't seem very.
I could not get behind him.
Yeah.
Something about it. I kept wanting to get in, but then I was like, I don't
Yeah.
like it. I mean,
yeah.
that's fair.
To me, it wasn't the acting; it was the character I was watching.
I think
Right.
With
so.
Jake
Yeah.
LaMotta.
Yeah,
It's just all yelling, all fighting, all like posing and being fake angry, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just don't like those people. So I just like
Yeah.
immediately was like, I don't.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I know people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I got, and it for the time period it was trying to say, like with all the like literal abuse and shit in that
Yeah.
movie,
Mhm.
like I don't like mind watching it because I know it's real.
Right.
But when your entire movie is just like beating the fuck out of each other,
Mm-hmm.
I just like don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't, and that's like not saying it's a bad movie. It's just saying like that character's hard to watch.
Right.
Right.
And typically, I don't mind when a bunch of dudes are in a room shouting at each other, but for some
Yeah.
reason in this movie, it bothered me.
Yes.
Then you go to the Wolf of Wall Street when I was like, I'm all in. For all,
Yeah.
all these assholes
Yeah.
yelling at each other and just having, but they're sort of having a good time at the same time.
Right.
So maybe that's
Right.
what made the difference.
Maybe.
These guys were
Yeah.
actually just, it seemed pissed off.
For
But like,
sure.
Yeah.
you go back to Goodfellas or Casino,
Mhm.
and it's like that kind of yelling I can get behind.
Yeah.
Right.
You just
It's-
don't root for Jake LaMotta
It-
at all.
I think
Right.
that's the thing, and for me, I don't know. I know it's a true story, and he didn't write the relationship happening, but the relationship just felt so strange for me.
Forced.
Like
for
his
me.
wife just
Yeah.
kind of disappeared.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
She went out for groceries one day and never came
Just
back.
never came back.
Like it's like my dad went out for smokes and he never came back, but this was his wife. So,
Yeah.
so that felt a little weird. I know. Did she ever come back? Did I miss something?
She's in it towards the end, I thought, but she basically says, "I'm done with you."
No, his first wife.
No, I don't think she came
She
back.
like he
Oh,
brought
yeah,
he
no.
brought the teenage girl home to bang
Yeah.
her because Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
Brother.
you can't bang her. You gotta. This is the girl. You gotta really wine and dine. And he's
Mm.
like, I'll show you, you little bastard.
Okay.
But then he brought her into his house and he's like, oh, my wife's she's getting groceries. And then that was it.
That was
She was
it.
gone.
Yeah.
I think I just missed some of that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, there's like that little colorful montage. I think that was supposed to be like the signifying thing of like
I think so.
they're done with her and then
It
this
Moving
just-
is
on.
it,
It
man.
felt like, I mean, at least in The Wolf of Wall Street, when Jordan Belfort's wife like gets rid of him, you know
Yeah.
she gets rid of him
Right.
because he's an
Yeah.
asshole
Right.
cheating on her.
Mhm.
for sure.
This one you don't see that happen, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Mhm.
Well,
there's a little
he
disconnect.
didn't get any
Confused, yeah.
consequences
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
I think I can agree because I don't even remember that part of the
Exactly.
movie.
Right.
so-
Exactly.
Right.
So that part really turned me off early in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it started with a bad taste and it kind of just blossomed as the show went on. And
I get you.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just felt when I was watching it, like the movie just wasn't as compelling as it was trying to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of it felt like improv, and like when they're faking anger and yelling, it's like they don't have an actual like beat by beat idea of where it's gonna
Mhm.
go. They're just gonna
Yeah.
be angry and see what the other person does with the anger and see how that goes back to that person. And see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just didn't like. I was like, okay, I can improv fake anger too, but I don't
Mhm.
want to do that. So
Right.
like,
Right.
And it just, I don't know, some of it just felt childish, and maybe that's not the right word, but like the fighting, the constant like fighting,
Yeah.
and like his wife's like kissing his boo-boos, like
Mhm.
literally
Yeah.
kissing his boo-boos. Like that just like screams to me like a childish story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's what he's going for. You know, obviously he's
Maybe.
a fighter who has no other goals. So,
Yeah. Than to beat.
And like
people.
at the
Oh,
end,
yes.
you think he's like a changed man in a way because he's with his wife and kids and he's got his own little club now.
Right.
But then he's still a scumbag, you know, cheating on his wife
Yeah.
and ends up in jail. And it's like when he's punching the wall and stuff and headbutting the wall, you're like, they want you to feel bad for him, but I don't. Just kind of
Mhm.
like, get what you
Yeah.
get.
No.
Well, he
bitch.
got that's what he deserved.
Right.
in that
Right.
point.
Right. Exactly.
That's what,
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I don't know. Like by the end of that movie, I felt like everything that happens to him is because of him. You know what I mean? Like,
In a complete opposite side is the Wolf of Wall Street. It's like you still want to root for Jordan.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
even
yeah.
though he's an asshole, even though he does all this bullshit, it's still like you still like him.
Yeah.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
got that
Exactly.
charisma. He's got that.
Do you think it's Leo versus De Niro, or is it the
See,
story of it all?
I think it's a little bit of both
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me because I like De Niro.
Mhm.
I mean, in most of the things he does, I really enjoy him.
Mhm.
I mean, like Taxi Driver, he's great in that. I
Mhm.
mean, shit. But Leo, I liked him in everything that I've seen him in so far. So
Cannot
maybe that
believe.
does.
Yeah, I cannot believe he didn't get an Oscar for any of the Scorsese
The Wolf
films.
of Wall
that
Street, him not getting the Oscar for that
Yeah.
after watching it again is
It's crazy, right?
unbelievable.
That-
Same with Django. I
slash
mean,
Django.
shit.
Yeah,
He's so
Criminal.
fucking fire.
yeah.
You got it for The
seriously.
Revenant, which is a good film. And
For
a
him
good,
grunting and crawling.
yeah, it's like in The Wolf of Wall Street, he carries that movie.
Right.
Right.
It's,
Right.
That movie's not a movie without him.
Without
like
him. Yeah.
Mhm.
it's, I don't know. It's
The
hard
entire
to-
movie too. He carries it the entire time. He does
Yes.
not let up.
No.
Right.
All the way up to when he's on the what are those called?
Ludes.
Yeah.
Lemons.
and he's crawling to his car. And it's
Yes.
just like this is and fighting with Jonah Hill in the
Yeah.
house.
That
my
whole
God.
sequence is beautiful. Like
Amazing.
when he's falling down the stairs, I noticed this time the camera like doesn't move. It all just stays there
It's a
and lets
static
Leo
shot.
do all the work.
Yeah.
And,
And
he
it-
fucked up his back when he
I heard
kicked
that.
open
Oh my
the door. Yeah.
Just for that scene alone, he deserves an Oscar.
Yeah.
Like that's just amazing.
Yeah.
See, and that's
so
that's
good.
that's something that I think Raging Bull missed on because there was no parts where I liked what was his name, Jake.
Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I didn't like him. I
No.
I thought he was an asshole the whole time
Mhm.
and not a likable asshole either.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
just kind of like I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Quit yelling so much. Quit hitting people so much.
Right.
Like, and then I guess one of the things was his thing was I can't. You don't tell me what I can't do. Type
Mhm.
situation, you know, the macho man bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way too, because I'm
Yeah.
like, just some of the stuff, like
Yeah.
throwing that. What was it? He threw a fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
he,
it was
Yeah.
He just walked off, didn't he? or
Champ-
whatever?
yeah.
Championship,
And I
yeah.
was just like,
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't make me like you either. You're just making this
Yeah.
worse. You're digging your hole.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like I struggle to be like, this is not. But like, to me, that reads as Scorsese knows what character he's telling
Right.
the story
Yeah.
of too, in a
Mhm.
way.
And is the true story of that
It's
Yeah.
character.
his, and he's a fucking shitbag.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I get that.
Which, and I guess when he went and saw the screening, he asked his wife. He said, "Was I really not his? I don't know if it was his wife still. The girl he was with.
Jake
in the movie.
LaMotta, the real Jake LaMotta.
Yeah, he said, "Was I really that bad?" And she said, "You were worse." So
I,
lucky
I,
us, we
Well,
only
yeah.
saw the
I could
the
believe it.
lesson side.
He
Right.
slaps her and walks away,
Mhm.
which is something I don't think would
Yeah.
happen in real life.
Yeah.
Like I think that the abuse was probably pretty real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty like shitty.
Yeah. Like I feel like it would have been easy to kind of root for him if his wife was actually cheating on him.
Yeah,
Mm.
But he'll probably also cheat on her. So
yeah,
just the
And-
whole being I
yeah.
hate this man so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I cannot watch it
I
again.
wanted to like it so bad too because
Right.
it's such an iconic movie and it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
one of the greats,
Mhm.
classics. But it
And
didn't feel like it. For
I
me.
wonder, like, I know the ending where he's beating his fist against that's like the iconic moment of like why this is a good movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't know if it was like fully realized.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying. I don't think he deserved that moment. You know,
Yeah.
if
I
that
feel
makes
that.
sense. And he deserved actually,
'Cause
being
it-
locked away, but having that you feel for him moment.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It played up his paranoia so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it made him feel like such a dick
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
he got to that moment, and you're just like, and he's like, why? You're like, why me? And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Think about it.
think
You'll
what
understand.
what you've done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's like, because I know Scorsese, this movie is like revolutionary
Yeah.
for why or what it said and how it said it. But I wonder if like Scorsese's, like, I know he had like insecurities when he made this movie with some of like teachers he had about how to end your story or whatever. And he said that he fully proved that he could tell this story correctly with the ending he wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder like how impactful it was to a viewer in the 1980s to see the story end this way. Because to me, I've seen movies like this already. I've seen Scorsese movies like this already.
Right.
Yeah.
So like for it to end this way, I'm like, yeah, okay. But for it to end it in 1980 when you haven't seen a movie like this, I wonder if it was like, wow.
Yeah,
I just
This
wonder
hasn't been
the
done
difference.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
wonder
had
the
to be
difference of it.
somewhat
Yeah.
defining at the time, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like you said, we've seen so many movies that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like Scorsese was the gangster film guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Tarantino it made Pulp Fiction, and he was the comedy gangster type
Yeah,
thing.
comedy
so it's
western
kinda like
gangster. Yeah.
why Pulp Fiction was like a wow moment too.
Yeah.
Like this probably was for people. It's like it's never been done before.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of I don't want to say watered down, but Scorsese movies are almost cookie cutter, save for a couple.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're still enjoyable.
Right.
It's
Right.
just they have that formula to
Right.
them.
Right.
So going
But-
back to a black and white one, where the opening is literally slow motion, slow, like it just
Yeah.
everything felt a little slower and a little less cohesive than all of other Scorsese's other
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah,
So-
Right.
for sure. Yeah, and that's like, I don't know, that's like kind of where we started. Like, do you go into a Scorsese movie because it's a Scorsese movie alone?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Right.
because he's like one of those auteur filmmakers that, like, you know, a Tarantino or a Wes Anderson, where it's like, you know, they're coming out with something.
Right.
You kind of know what you're paying for when you walk into the theater
Yeah.
nowadays. But I don't know where I'm going with this. But
Well, I mean, that's why like Wolf of Wall Street, to someone who saw Raging Bull in the theaters, they'd probably be like, okay.
right.
Wolf of Wall Street, to me, it's the modern telling of a Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
He told the modern tale of his story structure
Yeah.
Mhm.
with a modern person that I specifically can root for more.
Yeah.
Like, and I just like wonder like Wolf of Wall Street smacks me hard as like
Yeah.
the person in this time. Did Raging Bull smack that hard back then?
Right.
I can
Right.
see
And
what
like,
you're saying.
and
yeah.
which one's the right way to view it? And it's
Yeah.
like weird.
And which
Yeah.
one will stand the test of time?
Right.
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 Which I think Wolf of Wall Street
Yeah.
would.
I really, yeah,
I think so, too.
I
It's
think
like
so.
it's like the almost the perfect portrayal of Wall Street, and like,
It's-
it's just like,
The pacing of it is relentless. Like it just
Yeah.
never stops.
It's exactly 3 hours, right?
I don't know if it's
Wolf of Wall
exactly three,
Street?
but it could be.
yeah, it's pretty close.
It's pretty long. I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
it
feel
doesn't
long,
feel
though.
like
No,
it.
Yeah,
I was
you
gonna
know?
say.
It's like
Just kept
one
going.
of those movies where it's like Inglourious Bastards. It's 2.5 hours, but it's like,
It doesn't
was
feel
that 10
like-
minutes
yeah.
long?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the pacing is so good
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
And
a movie that's so long.
yeah, that one specifically, like in the back half of every other Scorsese movie I've seen, most of them, like I know it's in the fall section, so I'm like,
Right.
this movie's going on a little
Carry
long.
on,
now.
yeah.
I know where it's going now. But with Wolf of Wall Street, the fall section was just as fun as the rise
Right.
section. So it's
Right.
like that's just
Right.
phenomenal storytelling. Then.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like with the Aviator too, like it's definitely the rise and fall formula that he uses, but we still even get that moment with Howard Hughes in the courtroom, you
Very
know,
good.
where
Yeah.
he's like talking, he's like, you know, I've done everything that I've needed to do. Everything's been on my dime. Like I've achieved what I want to achieve. Like you're trying to convict me of something. So he still kind of leaves on like a little bit of a high, but it's definitely, you know, like he started here as this young philanthropist, entrepreneur,
Right.
got here,
And then died.
has his problems, and then ends up where he ends up.
I
But-
thought his decline in The Aviator was, for me, I felt it was paced pretty okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that it took its time to tell his
Yeah.
story and do it justice. It didn't it wasn't like a complete right angle down where he was
Right.
like
Yeah.
deteriorating. He had those things where he told Kate Blanchett, you know, you're going to have to be my pilot or whatever the fuck she says. And then she was like, I'll be there for you. But when she leaves, that's kind of when he starts to crumble even
Yeah.
faster, because it's like
100%.
she was the one that kept him
Together.
somewhat
Yeah.
sane.
Right,
He was,
right.
he was a little crazy.
Yeah.
You can tell,
I
but
Right.
really liked the early. I mean, the big highlight of The Aviator was, to me, I really liked the plane storyline, and
Yeah.
it was just as much a filmmaking storyline too, where he's like viewing how to make planes dynamic in the air,
Right.
and he's watching his movies with the audience and stuff like that. But my favorite moments of The Aviator were the tiny little intricate moments that you see of Leo or Howard Hughes with his like neuroses.
Yeah.
And like just how like I liked how a character could just like switch from being like personable to anxiety ridden
Yeah.
and like totally like paranoid.
Yeah.
And like the moments where he's like in the early stuff was like 10 chocolate chip cookies, exactly 10. You know, and,
Yeah.
like,
Make sure the chocolate chips aren't too
Right.
close to the edge.
and then he's like, there's moments where he like just is looking at his finger, like he has
Yeah.
something on his
Yeah.
finger, and there's clearly nothing on his like.
Right.
That's
That's
like
what,
this is. I can see the rise and fall in this character, and then
Right.
this is when I'm gonna be totally behind. kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, there's moments like that where they're sitting in the restaurant. He gets the steak with the 10 peas
Yeah.
lined up.
Lined
The
up.
dude or
Grabs
Jude
it,
Law
yeah.
grabs it and he's just like he can't eat it now,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the moment where the dude unveils the new line of plane that he's gonna be like buying for his airline, and like he's literally like he's hyped up because you know you can tell when he talks about planes like he's excited to talk about it, and he sees the little like speck on the dude's lapel,
Right.
and like
Yeah.
everything changes in that
Right.
moment.
The
can't
whole
focus.
tone
No.
changes.
Yeah, it really does.
And you felt it too, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
I think says a lot for Leo. I thought this was one of his
Right.
best roles
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the
He
dude can
embodied
fucking act.
Cues the voice like afflection. No, what am I
Inflection?
thinking? Inflection. The
Yeah.
voice like inflection, like how he was portraying. He was always embodying Hughes. I
Yeah.
thought I was
Right.
immediately in. I was like
Yeah.
immediately behind Leo.
Yeah, and like it was just like because like you guys were saying, the downfall is like kind of when Katharine Hepburn leaves him, Kate Blanchett, and then we get like we're given like the physical crash that he get. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
he crashes and
That
like
crash scene was so brutal.
it was
Oh
intense.
my god.
Yeah.
Bashes his face, and I'm just like,
I felt
oh my
it. I
God.
felt
Yeah.
the pain. I
Yeah.
felt the danger.
Right.
That was really good.
I wasn't
was like,
expecting that
ugh.
because I didn't know anything about Howard Hughes
Right, me
going
either.
into it, and
Right.
I thought that was
Yeah.
wild
Yeah.
for a true story. They really shocked me on that one.
Right.
So
Yeah, and
Kinda
then he's
cool.
kind of that sets him into like the reclusive.
right,
You know,
Yeah.
that puts him in a shell or whatever. Like
Like when he's sitting in his own little private theater for like what I looked up his life a little bit and that was like true, and he did that for months. Like,
Right.
He didn't leave that room for months.
Yeah.
his nails, the bottles of pee.
Ugh,
Right.
Yeah.
Nope.
God,
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
crazy because he's the guy who would sit there and say like, you know, you wouldn't believe what's on people's
Right.
hands, and like,
Mhm.
and now this
Uh-huh.
guy's literally like downward spiraled
Yep.
into
Right.
Right.
this.
It's just like
But
a
then he makes
more-
that comeback, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just a more compelling, like compared to Jake LaMotta.
Mhm.
There's intricacies to Howard Hughes and
Right.
Leo's portrayal. Like there's other stuff that like hooks you other than blank angry expression.
For
Right.
sure,
That
for
Robert
sure.
De Niro gives
and
you.
and he was a different kind of asshole, you know.
Yeah.
'cause
Right.
He was like the billionaire asshole where he's got the money, he's gonna do it his way,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people might take that as
He's
an
a
asshole.
perfectionist.
Right.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
just him doing his craft and doing it the way he wants.
Right.
And a lot of
Mhm.
people, obviously, if it's done not your way, you're going to be like, oh, fuck you.
That's
you
not right.
know? Yeah,
Well,
it
yeah, and I
sucks.
think that definitely comes through in some of those side characters in that, because like,
Mhm.
what is it, John C. Riley's character,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
his basically his accountant,
Right.
Mhm.
and then the dude,
The plane designer.
yeah,
Mhm.
Odekirk or whatever his name,
Something
Odie,
like that.
yeah.
It's Matt Ross as the actor.
Yeah, the dude
He's
from Silicon
Silicon
Valley.
Valley,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I-
he's a good actor. Too.
He's
He
good.
is.
Yeah, I was surprised. I like after seeing him in that, I was like, why haven't I seen him in other
Right.
stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
he got the chops.
but yeah, it's like he builds up a little bit of the people around him who can appreciate that about him.
Yeah.
Right.
So like there's
And
people
help him.
backing him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And I thought the end was like he had that moment of the gotcha, fuck you in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And he walked away and he's like feeling better, but then it still comes back to where he's still got that thing that will never leave him, which
Yeah.
is the looming cloud of
stuck.
insanity
Yeah.
Right.
that's kind
Future.
of just there.
It's the way of
you
the
know?
future.
Yeah.
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 So that it makes you feel for him because he wasn't an asshole like Jake where
Right.
you couldn't
Right.
feel at all for that guy.
Right. There's almost nothing to reconcile
Right.
because
Yeah.
he's just a dick.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't an asshole like Jordan Belfort. It was his own kind of relatable, and it was like you just want to give him a hug because it's like you
Yeah.
can't help what's happening
Exactly.
to
You
you.
can't
Yeah.
control it.
Yeah.
It's controlling you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think I appreciate Kate Blanchett's character
She
'cause
killed
For
it.
sure.
She
it's
did.
like that scene in the restaurant where that dude gets his food.
Mhm.
Like you can tell that
She's recognizing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And so her leaving, it makes sense that he just spirals down.
right.
And, stuff like that. I just
Yeah.
like, but she's just amazing.
Yeah. And then he's like filtering through all the the actresses and celebrities in Hollywood,
Mhm.
trying to like find a fix, and
Yeah.
that isn't
Yeah.
the same.
Mhm.
Like
The one that will be his pilot or
Yeah.
whatever.
right. Yeah.
And when she comes back, when he was like in his movie theater cave, I love that scene so much. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
You just
You
feel
can tell
for
she
him.
cares for him,
Yeah.
Right.
But there's nothing she can do
Yeah.
if he doesn't like let her.
Mhm.
And that was a scene I loved too when they're flying together. And he's like, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
grab milk, and like, do you want some milk? And he like lets her drink out of it, and he's like I can drink out of
Yeah.
this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Just little nuances, and Leo playing it so well. And
Yeah, he kills it.
Yeah, I never really got the hype around Leo until I watched The Aviator
Yeah.
Really?
and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
No, I like the more I rewatched these, and I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood recently.
Right. Yeah.
And without a doubt, like I can state that he might be the best actor of my generation.
Yeah.
I think so.
I would agree.
I mean,
yeah.
it's tough. I wish Chris Pine was in more because I kind of want to put him in that category.
Yeah.
But I
Leo's
think
got it,
Leo,
Yeah.
it's kind of undeniable. at this point.
Django.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's. Oh, I mean, you
His
might have seen
range is just
It is.
Right.
impeccable.
it. Yeah,
It's-
seriously
it's-
is.
In
It's
Once Upon a
great.
Time, he is hilarious. In it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like it's just so funny.
Yeah. Because
I'm gonna
Brad
blow
Pitt's
your
like kind
fucking
of the
brains
more
out.
serious line, but yeah.
I had to drink 12 fucking whiskey sours.
Not just one.
Uh,
He's good, and I mean, my mom, she made me watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and
yeah,
she
still.
thought they got a real autistic boy to play.
wow.
Really.
She was sold like, how
Yeah.
did they
Wow.
get this boy to
Right.
play this part?
Mhm.
And then she realized, oh, that's Leo.
It's Leo,
Dang.
yeah.
I need to
And-
see that one for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really good. I mean, he killed it even at that age.
Right.
And I mean, he was so young. I mean, Johnny Depp talks about how he was annoyed by Leo being, a kid on set.
Too good.
But
Uh,
it's
even the
crazy.
Titanic, dude. I mean, fucking come
Right,
on. You
right.
can't
I
deny
guess.
it.
I hate
guess.
that
You don't like
movie,
it?
Give him that
but
one.
he was. I like
it's
him
awesome.
in there, but I just
Dude's
don't
damn
like the movie.
good. He's in a new Scorsese one coming out.
Is it?
Yeah,
Shit.
it's what is it? Shit, I just said that and I didn't have the facts to back me up. Come
Oh,
back.
yeah.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah,
and
you're
we'll find
good.
out for you.
I
Just in
thought that was
general,
it's called.
the supporting cast in The Aviator. Oh my god.
Yeah.
dude,
Amazing.
just
John C.
do
Reilly
great.
just is a great actor
Mhm.
in any movie you put him in.
Honestly, yeah.
Comedy,
I
drama.
haven't seen a performance of his that I was like, this didn't do it for me. Everything he's done has been like on point.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna I just made a list. I was like, Jesus Christ, like Alec Baldwin, Ian Holm, Gwen Stefani,
Yeah.
Jude Law, Willem
Gwen
Dafoe,
Stefani.
and
Yeah.
then Adam Scott. I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
doing in
right?
this movie? Like,
Yeah.
I had no
Did
idea.
not. I was like,
Where
Ben
he-
Wyatt.
Right. He fit the role too. He fit it perfect. Like,
Right.
It's just nice to see all these faces pop
that
up. And,
Hollywood like schmo, like
Yeah. And that was he must have been like just breaking in or really
Right.
young at that movie too.
yeah, it seemed like it. He's got that
2004. I
that
think.
what I would assume be a fake mustache going on.
Yeah.
Even Gwen
Um,
Stefani. I was like,
yeah,
that looks like
right?
Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it was.
And she's not overutilized. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Scorsese knows how much she needs to like get.
Mhm.
She's not going to be the feature of the movie. She's just going to be a fun little side character that gets the idea of like what that actress was in that
Mhm.
time in the 30s
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
20s or whatever. Like that's what Gwen Stefani is now.
Mhm.
Like what
Yeah.
she was is
Yeah.
like that's a nice way to just give it to the audience in current times.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
I'm also a sucker for like old Hollywood. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, right.
I watched Singing in the Rain last night.
Oh,
And I was just
ooh,
like,
Yeah,
I cannot. I just
Yeah.
love that era.
that
Of,
feel.
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Scorsese does too. I feel like this and maybe it's not just Hollywood, but this and Raging Bull, probably some other ones where he's biopics in a time period.
Mm-hmm.
There's I noticed so much like swingy background music. It
Mhm.
almost never stops. It feels
Mhm.
like.
Right.
Mhm.
He knows how to go into a diner and make a bunch of dudes fight each other inside this diner. That all this shit's happening. The music's playing, like you said, in
Yeah.
the background,
Mhm.
and it's, I don't know, kind of engaging. And you're like, this should annoy me, but it doesn't.
It
It's
doesn't,
kind of
yeah.
It just puts you into
cool.
it.
It puts you in
Right.
the time,
Yeah.
like obviously you're feeling that time with the weird swingy stuff
Right.
happening
Right.
next to it.
Yeah. No, I can't stop thinking about it too. But just like Leo, like
Right.
like there's that thing. I'm sure that's like mostly everyone's seen if they're into movies. But like when he in Django, when he smashes the
Mhm.
glass and he's like literally bleeding,
He's
like
so
he-
committed to
it's
his
like,
role.
bro, give this man a trophy. Like,
I was, I think it was the Rewatchables or somebody. They were talking with an interview with Quentin about Hollywood and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And when the little girl goes up to Leo and says, "That's the best acting I've ever seen,"
Yeah.
and they asked Tarantino, like, "Have you ever, who's the one?" And he said, in Django, when Leo did that scene, that was the moment where he was like, that's-
Transcended.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like the
Mhm.
best acting he's seen.
For sure.
I'm probably butchering it, but
No, I
that's
got it.
pretty
No.
much what he
I
was
feel like
saying.
if anyone was on set to witness that,
Yeah.
they couldn't refute
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They couldn't- yeah.
I'd have tears in my eye. I'm like, oh my god.
Right.
Standing O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously Leo carries a lot at the Aviator and Wolf of Wall Street. Do you
Yeah.
think
Right.
he carries too much of? Is Scorsese just as much a factor, or is Leo the main factor?
See, but the thing with the Wolf of Wall Street, I think obviously Leo carries the fucking movie, but I think Jonah Hill does a really good job
Yeah,
in his
that's
role.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, for being, he's mainly side characters or whatever in most movies, besides like Superbad, which he
Yeah.
kills. But I think he was actually pretty good in it, and I enjoyed him almost, not as much obviously, but almost as much as Leo. You know, but I
Right.
like Jonah Hill a lot, so
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of biased on that. But I
Okay.
think them together really.
That was a fun pairing for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I think, to your point of, is it the Leo charisma? I think yes and maybe no. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard for me to say. I think
Yeah.
that obviously if the movie has Leo in it, I'm invested
You're
just
there.
because it's like Brad Pitt. If Brad Pitt's in it, I'm invested.
I feel
Right.
like he does carry a lot, but I feel like he deserves that credit anyway because he's so good
Right.
that it doesn't, for me anyway, it doesn't matter that I'm only seeing this movie because of him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of different from like the Ryan Reynolds. Like you go see a movie because Ryan Reynolds is in it, compared to you go see a movie because Leo's in it. You go to see a movie with Ryan Reynolds in it because it's gonna be fun, entertaining, kind of forgettable. You go to see a movie with Leo in it, you're going to go see it for its craft.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's kind of a different pull to
Different
it.
feel,
And then,
yeah.
yeah.
Like you're not watching Leo
Right.
act. You're just watching this character become.
Yeah. Kind of come to life.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
Leo
Being
is
himself.
playing.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
he's chameleoned into at this point in
Mhm.
time.
Right.
And yeah, it's
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, people. Yeah, like Jonah Hill, John Bernthal, even like the agent dude. He's like the perfect.
Kyle Chandler.
Yeah, he's like the perfect dude you would choose as like the Boy Scout.
That's what I was thinking.
Dude,
Is like
you know,
it must be
like-
nice to be a Scorsese where
Right.
the best actors are within one phone call.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like
who's
Yeah.
gonna say no?
right.
At
Right.
this
So
point.
Yeah.
so with
Exactly.
like the pairing of Jonah Hill and Leo, it's like that's. I know I read a while ago that Jonah Hill took a pay cut to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like, why would you not? Because like
Right.
you're gonna get the best acting of your entire career
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
when you do these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never wanted to punch someone in the face.
Jonah Hill?
especially- Yeah.
Right.
But that means,
God.
he did his
Right.
job, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's coming through.
Yeah.
He's fine or whatever the whole movie, and then the scene
With
I think
John
it
Bernthal?
signifies with the downfall or
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
where he like won't give John Bernthal the
Did you just
suitcase.
did you just try to kiss me right now?
Oh my God.
The way you came at
Yep, that one.
we had
yeah.
like a twinkle in your
Yeah.
eye. Like,
It's just like, man, now I want to kill this guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
too far, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
across the line,
Yeah.
he kind of screwed over Jordan.
Yeah.
It's like he gives him the lemons to like forget about
Try to
it,
forget.
and then he's all fucked up trying to deal with it. Like, yeah, no, it's
The whole scene where he was choking, and then
he,
and then he was
he snorts the coke along
Like-
with Popeye.
Yeah.
Popeye spinach.
That's so
I was
fucking
like,
great.
oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I was trying hard not to laugh because my sister was in the next room. and I was gonna wake her up.
Yeah.
I
And then he
wish I
does
could
like
not.
a fucking like King Kong pound on his chest. It's just so like real and raw. And
And like I feel that Jonah Hill, like he's just stuffing down those
Right.
turkey rolls or whatever they are. I feel that. Like, you're fucked up. You want shit's going crazy. Just start eating. Yeah.
The thing about Scorsese too is, I look forward to his films, but I don't look forward to his films as much as other directors. So I
Same
think
here.
to your point again with Leo, I think it helps if he's in a movie. So I
Right.
think
Right.
I'm gonna land on yes. I think
it's more
the
Leo.
pull
Mhm.
of Leo, because if it's a Scorsese movie with Leo, I'm in.
100%. Yeah.
But if it's just a Scorsese movie, I'm in, but I'm not, balls deep
I get
as
that.
I would
Right,
be
right.
with
yeah,
a
I think
Leo movie.
maybe that's kind of what I came around to. I would hate to say that like any director that we do a deep dive on isn't like my favorite director because they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But with this one, with Scorsese, it's like I love his style, great filmmaking. It's not exactly the stories I would tell or
Right.
want to
Right.
see,
Right.
Right.
but I appreciate all of the craft, all the
Mhm.
ability.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think that's where I land too, because for me, they're all obviously super serious. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street's funny,
Right.
but like Raging Bull, I don't think I laughed at all in that movie.
No.
And I mean, I like to laugh occasionally. I think dramas are like some of the best comedies,
Gotta
but
Right.
release
That-
eventually.
that just
Yeah.
made me sad and angry and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable.
right.
Yeah.
Almost.
It wasn't the emotions I wanted to feel while
Mhm.
watching a movie. I want to feel a little range,
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
yeah, I think then. That's with Scorsese. It's just I know what I'm getting into. With Leo, I know there's going to be a little bit of dynamic. I think that's why The Departed's so good, because
Yeah,
you have the
good enough.
dynamic of like Leo, Matt Damon, even
Mhm.
Mark Wahlberg. You
Mhm.
have all those
Mhm.
things working with each other, and it kind of takes you out of the fact that it's a Scorsese movie.
For
It's
sure.
more
Yeah.
of a their movie.
an
Right.
ensemble.
Right.
Kinda,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, your question. I think Leo's the pull.
He's
for
got
me.
something, man. He's got definitely something
Yeah.
to keep you invested.
Mhm.
Like, we did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and my one like gripe was like, I don't know if I needed the voiceover.
Right.
Right.
Wolf of
Mhm.
Wall Street, the voiceover was
Perfect.
Yeah.
exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and the way he's talking to you, the way he's
And it
like,
wasn't too
fucking-
much.
No,
Right.
yeah, it was at the right times, and he's
Yeah.
like, and at times when it's like, I had to do this, and you know what, you don't.
Right,
care.
that's
right.
Like,
The
he
point is
just knows.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
$22 million fucking dollars in
Yeah.
3 hours.
Right.
That's the point.
That's the perfect narration to that story, and I think it was more personal with Leo saying it to you too. It was like,
Right.
it's like he's with you.
He's addressing you,
Yeah.
and you're with him throughout.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I thought that these three were a really good pick for our first director's dive.
Yeah.
Specifically because like got like the old with Raging Bull, got the brand new with Wolf of Wall Street, and the Aviator. When I watched it, I was like, this is a bridge between his old stuff and his new
Yeah.
stuff. Like I
Kinda,
felt
right?
that. I was
Yeah.
like, I felt the stylized change. Like I felt
Right.
this like some of the more poppy elements and the more like not blockbustery but more entertaining stuff start to
Yeah.
like come into it.
It
There's like a nice
definitely-
progression of his
Yeah.
movies with these.
It was
three.
more fun than most of his movies are in terms of like visual appeal and
Yeah.
things of that nature. I was shocked how much I liked it, and for the long run time, I mean, I was invested pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was shocked at that too, with
Mhm.
everything, the story of the characters, the way it was shot, things like that. So I thought that was a good, different taste of Scorsese for me. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I think I was pleasantly surprised. So that kind of probably padded my rating for,
For
it.
sure.
But
For sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any other films except Shutter Island and Hugo.
Okay.
okay.
So when I watched Raging Bull, I was like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can do it
Yeah, yeah.
anymore.
Goodfellas, you haven't seen?
Yeah.
I might have, because
Sounds good.
That is. A good
I think
one.
I've seen that one.
That's for some reason it's like
Maybe.
The Departed. You know, it's just once it's on, you're like, okay, now I gotta
I'll
fucking watch
watch
this.
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
but
but The Aviator I think is my favorite.
out of these three,
Out
I
of the
think it was
three,
my
yeah.
favorite too.
Hmm.
I think it's my second favorite. Scorsese, Wolf of Wall Street is probably my third favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I mean, I think Wolf of Wall Street's his best movie.
Yeah.
It's, and like I said, I wasn't like, I was like, that's a good movie. First time I saw it, I
Yeah.
was like, that's kind of shitty. Whatever, that's a good movie. And I watched it this time, and I'm like, this is like, it's you can't look away. Like
Yeah.
you can't deny its entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I remember watching it and like, because I just watched it in my room and not wanting to like step away to like go get something to drink.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like,
Right.
I just wanted to be there with it.
You wanna be on
and
the
feel,
ride.
Like be on, be with the ride. But like other compared to Raging Bull, the only of like his old stuff that I've seen is After Hours, and that is actually, now that I think about it, is a lot different.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip. Like it's kind
cool.
of kooky and like
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there. Like yeah, it's
Interesting.
weird. Yeah.
Well, that's what's exciting to me about the director's dives is we're gonna probably go through a bunch more directors,
Mhm.
but we'll come back to Scorsese.
right. Who
And
knows
then
that we'll
Yeah.
come around and choose
Yeah.
a new three that
new
we
three
haven't
that
seen.
haven't
And,
seen, or that'll be.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be fun to continually
a-
dive through these people's.
Yeah, he's got a
filmographies.
lot. I think that we could take from like, I mean, King of Comedy and things
Yeah.
like that. Mean
Right.
Streets. Those are
I
ones
still-
I
Right.
really would like to see.
I still have
too.
to
Yeah.
see the Last Temptation of Christ,
that one,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
supposedly
Same.
like a very
What's
seminal, the right word, seminal movie. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
another Leo is Gangs of New York, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh.
another one.
That's the
And I've
first one he
seen
did.
bits and pieces of Hugo. I've not seen it all the way through. But I remember reading the book in school and like loving the book.
Yeah.
Hugo is the one that I've seen where I'm like, that's not Scorsese stuff.
Right, right.
Like it's
totally.
like, whoa, yeah. But yeah.
Gangs of New York. That's with Daniel Day-Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the one of Scorsese's that I've seen that I didn't like.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's
I
just
don't
my
know.
opinion of that one.
For sure.
But
I know that was Leo's first movie with him.
yeah.
Oh, was it?
That's where it all
Aw.
started, at least. But
Interesting,
But
interesting.
yeah.
That's what got him hooked on
Baby
the Leo train.
yeah, right. Realized the potential you could have with that actor.
Right.
I think Leo is like the modern day De Niro for Scorsese's
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
At this
he
point in
handpicks
his
the ones he
life.
likes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, The Irishman felt kind of like the closing
Yeah.
of him
I
and
still haven't seen that
Pesci's.
one.
Mm.
It's long, but it's not bad.
Yeah. It's
I
not
enjoyed
bad.
it. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely a good like cap on
It's a-
Scorsese's style and on
Yeah.
those people he's worked with.
It's
I
a
think.
Scorsese gangster film.
Right. It
For
really,
sure.
yeah. It
So
kind of
it's-
feels like Goodfellas. Like it,
Yeah.
It's
you know.
leaning into it probably a little
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but I'm really glad we started with
Mhm.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's a
I think
good-
it was a good pick.
Yeah, I'm excited to go into everyone else's though.
Right.
I
Do
know,
you guys
right?
have like one you would say right now that you want to get to soonish, or
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Anderson.
I'm a big
he's-
fan of Wes Anderson.
my gosh.
we
honestly.
should do his when his new one
Yes,
comes out.
the new
Yeah,
one.
the French
Yeah,
Dispatch.
that's a good idea.
I think
Mhm.
Paul Thomas Anderson's a great person.
That
we
is a
should
good
look
Yeah, that's
into.
true.
Yeah.
His films blew my panties
I just
away.
need to see his movies. Like
Right.
they're movies you just need to see. So
Yeah.
I just need
Mhm.
to get to them.
Yeah.
For me, I just want to go into David Lynch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen any of his stuff. I know it's totally off the walls and crazy, but that's kind of what excites me about it. So I kind of want to just see something I've never seen with a
Mhm.
director that clearly has a very unique style. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I would choose. I would like. I don't know. I really dig like historical film. So like
Mhm.
Kurosawa is one that I've just always
Yeah.
wanted to watch
Yeah,
because like he just like inspired so much after it.
Mhm.
Kind of set up like Western samurai films.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe him like a historical way.
That's a
but
good pick.
Wes
I mean,
Anderson might be one for me too.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
just a dude that I just can
Yeah.
appreciate everything
I
he
will
does.
drop everything, anything.
Right?
Wes
Like-
Anderson, he's got some good ones in there, like ones that caught me off guard that
Mhm.
I really like. I think I just watched Bottle Rocket.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I gotta,
man,
I gotta
yeah.
see his early
That's-
ones.
That was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I think he's what's the one? Life Aquatic.
That one's
Dang, yeah,
zany.
that's another one I need
That
to
was
see.
probably one of my favorites.
Really?
I liked the story of Owen Wilson and
The
His,
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
dynamic and how it kind of closes.
the-
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
more than
rewatched.
thought.
Or I didn't rewatch. I watched Darjeeling Limited.
I was gonna say
Oh.
that is the most recent one that stood out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this
I
might
need
be
to
one of
watch
my
that.
favorites. That
I don't
is-
know why I keep putting it
Putting that
off
one
to
off.
watch. I don't know
It
why.
doesn't
I did this.
stand out as
I did the
much.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
But when I watched it, I was like, "Wow, this might be one of my favorites."
right. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was like. Because
That
I,
last scene was perfect.
yeah.
But
After watching Fantastic Mr. Fox, I was
Mhm.
like, I love this. I like animation, and this is
Yeah.
Wes Anderson
Yeah.
animation. So
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah. And then I saw Darjeeling Limited, and I was like, damn.
Darjeeling Limited is like his most like emotionally grounded movie.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It just felt like, whereas like Moonrise Kingdom, it's a really good movie, but it's like
Mhm.
cartoony a little bit.
Yeah.
And same with what's the Grand Budapest?
Grand Budapest.
Great,
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal movie. But like the Darjeeling Limited, I felt actual emotion in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything is just so well composed, like
Right.
all
Yeah.
the color
soundtrack,
and
I'm
yeah,
just-
like
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I
Oh my
think-
gosh.
next to the Darjeeling and obviously Life Aquatic, for me that was just. But the Royal Tenenbaums. have you
That's a
seen
good
that
one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
I haven't seen that,
That one was really good.
Yeah.
I liked what that all touched on and
Yeah.
all the stuff that it.
The
got.
family drama of
Yeah.
that all.
Man, Wes Anderson might be a good one.
He's
Yeah, we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
I Love Dogs is one of my favorite.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
I don't know why.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
yeah. I think it's because when I saw the trailer for the first time, I think we were watching The Greatest Showman or something.
Mhm.
So I was with a bunch of friends. They were like, "What the fuck is this? This is
Yeah.
weird." I was like, "I'm gonna prove you wrong." It's
Like,
a
we're going to
good
see
movie.
this. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny you should say that. I dragged my friends. We were in school, obviously, and I drug them over here to Cherville because that's the only place it was playing. And they're like, "This is gonna look stupid," and they all loved it. So I'm
Right.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's good. At least they
suck my
liked it.
balls.
I love that. I mean, because obviously, I think we're like kind of proficient moviegoers and movie lovers. So I love when someone. I mean, obviously, people have different tastes and everything.
Right.
But when you can like just introduce people to like, and just blow their expectations away, it's like
Mhm.
one of the best feelings
Yeah.
to have.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You just keep watching them watching.
Yeah,
the movie.
you're
I'm
just like, are you
like
digging
it?
this the way I'm digging this? 'Cause
Oh. I'm gonna take people to see that new A24 movie, The Lamb.
Oh, that looks
Oh.
fucking
Just wanna see
cool.
their reaction.
yeah,
That's gonna be
boy.
so cool. Oh god, listening to that plop when they pull it out of the lamb, I was just like, oh my god, this is fucked up.
But anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the first director's dive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really excited to
hopefully-
get into some more.
hopefully we made you think about Scorsese a little bit, and
Yeah. I think it's a really fun way, this format, to view a director's filmography and less of just one individual movie. I think
Yeah.
that's a good way of
just
doing
brings
it.
you a little closer to I think the Hollywood process
Yeah.
and people who work in
Yeah.
that in that
Yeah,
area.
I think it helped me understand. Like, I always knew Scorsese had this flair or the style
Mhm.
to it, and it just watching these three movies right after the other, I just
Mhm.
thought, I see it now. I
I get
see
it. Yeah.
what he does and why
Right.
he does it, and
Right.
his tropes that I may have
Mhm.
just looked
Right.
over in the past. So I thought it
and
was
how
cool.
it's evolved, and yeah,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
a different perspective. So
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
good.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll
Yeah.
see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.